In today's video, we'll be talking about Khamzat Chimaev finally getting to fight Paulo Costa at UFC 294. UFC Middleweight champion Israel Adesanya trashing his former scheduled opponent, Dricus Du Plessis. The King of Miami, Colby Covington, calls out Jon Jones ahead of his return. And video footage showing Conor McGregor's drama at a funeral. Khamzat Chimaev, the rising UFC superstar, is making his epic comeback to the octagon, and he's not coming back at welterweight, no sir. It's going down at middleweight against none other than the hard-hitting Paulo Costa. Dana White himself, the boss of the UFC, personally confirmed this thrilling showdown that is scheduled to take place at UFC 294 on October 21, 2023 in Abu Dhabi, as the co-main event. The card will be headlined by the Dagestani warrior, Islam Makhachev, who will face off against the man with the most finishes in the UFC, Charles Oliveira, in a rematch of their fight almost the same time last year. Now, let's talk about the fight game. Chimaev, the Boars, is stepping up to middleweight after dominating at welterweight for so long. His last middleweight bout was a jaw-dropping knockout victory over Gerald Meerschaert. So the question is, can he keep that momentum and take on the brute force of Costa? Well, before you answer that, you need to know that Chimaev hasn't been in the cage since his epic co-main event clash with Kevin Holland, back at UFC 279. And guess what? He was all set to face Nate Diaz in the main event, but a weight miss threw a wrench in the works. But hey, that's in the past, and we're looking forward to the future. In a scathing display of trash talk, the reigning middleweight champ, Israel Adesanya, went all out on South African wrecking ball, Dricus Du Plessis. The speculation for their matchup came in the aftermath of UFC 290. Adesanya just couldn't handle Du Plessis' surprising win over Whittaker, so he stormed right into the octagon. And then, there were rumors of a potential title fight featuring both men at UFC 293. However, MMA pundits and media houses suggest that Dricus withdrew from the colossal and much-anticipated title bout. This led to the last stylebender wasting no time venting his frustrations. In a video seen on his Twitter, he said, and guess what happened next? Adesanya went full-on beast mode, showering Strickland with a hailstorm of expletives and, brace yourselves, a series of racial slurs. It was like watching a verbal UFC battle before the actual fight with a bunch of N-bombs thrown in the mix. The tension is through the roof. For now, we just have to wait for the UFC to give official details concerning Adesanya's next title defense. Also on the UFC 293 card, there's the electrifying Kai Kara-France, ready to go toe-to-toe with the seasoned fighter Manel Kape, in a 3-round showdown. You know this Kiwi sensation brings the heat every time he steps inside that cage. But that's not all. Brace yourselves for the warrior known as Mike Blood Diamond, who hails from City Kickboxing and who is hungry for redemption. With 2 tough losses in his UFC journey so far, Diamond is itching to claim his first victory. Standing in his way is the American powerhouse, Charlie Chuck Buffalo Radke. It's gonna be an all-out war in their 3-round welterweight clash. New Zealand is churning out some of the most thrilling fighters in the game, and Diamond is no exception. He's got the skills, the heart, and the determination to make a statement against the UFC newcomer Radke. The Auckland-based duo of Mike and Kai Kara-France is here to represent and dominate. And let's not forget, fight fans, Taito Ivasa is also on this epic fight card, making it one hell of a night in Sydney. So mark your calendars, set your alarms, and get ready for an action-packed event like no other. Colby Covington, the unstoppable force, is set to bring some serious stability to the UFC's long-awaited return to Madison Square Garden in New York City for UFC 295 on November 11, 2023. But let me tell you, UFC 295 is stacked. The main attraction is none other than the heavyweight champion, Jon Jones, making his first title defense against the former 2-time champ, Stipe Miocic. The heavyweight clash of the titans is enough to give any MMA enthusiast goosebumps. But that's not all. The welterweight championship bout is still in the works with the champion, Leon Edwards, likely to face Colby at this event. Dana White spilled the beans to BT Sports interviewer, Adam Catterall, and they're eyeing UFC 295 as the perfect stage for Edwards vs. Covington. And the truth is, Colby Chaos Covington is chomping at the bit for this fight. He's ready to step into the octagon and prove that Edwards can't be trusted to show up on fight night. And here's the kicker, Covington called out Jon Jones, saying they can't depend on him for anything. He's unpredictable and unprofessional, and might find himself in all sorts of trouble. In his words, he's there to be the insurance policy against any unpredictability. He's got what it takes to bring the fight to the Garden and make UFC 295's 30th anniversary show a legendary one. Let's not forget that Covington has some impressive credentials too. He's coming off a victory against his once best friend, now bitter rival, Jorge Masvidal, in a unanimous decision at UFC 272. But the drama didn't stop there. He's been dealing with an ongoing assault case involving Masvidal, which kept him away from the spotlight. But the story doesn't end there. Early discussions in the world of MMA indicated that Edwards vs. Covington could have gone down at UFC Fight Night in London, England, after Edwards' most recent title defense. Negotiations stalled, however, and Covington points the blame on Edwards. In his words, he said, "There must be something wrong on Leon's side. Maybe he's injured, maybe something's going on, maybe he needs a little bit more time to get ready for chaos. But this fight's gonna happen. They're not gonna put this in the desert in Abu Dhabi. What sense does that make? At the latest, I just don't see it being pushed back by December in Vegas. I think he's gonna get stripped if it goes anything beyond that." A new video has emerged, and it's got the MMA community buzzing. McGregor was caught on camera making a hasty exit from a funeral, following what seems to be an alleged incident. The drama unfolds at a funeral in the UK. Yeah, you heard me right, a funeral. Apparently, Conor was there to mourn the loss of a family member. Sad times, man. But, suddenly, things took a dicey turn, and next thing you know, footage hits the internet of McGregor and his security team storming out of the place. According to TMZ Sports, earlier that day, Conor was all smiles and joyful vibes. But then, things flipped like a switch, and there's talk of some altercation during the funeral. Details are sparse, but it seems like some individuals at the event might have caused some trouble which may have led to a fight. And you know, McGregor's not new to controversy. Outside the octagon, he's had his fair share of run-ins. Remember the time he was accused of some serious stuff during the NBA Finals? Yeah, not his finest moment for sure. But, folks, it doesn't end there. On that same night, McGregor went all in with a skit where he took on the Miami Heat mascot. Can you believe it? He even promoted his TIDL sports spray, but things got real when he apparently legitimately injured the poor guy inside that mascot suit. But hey, McGregor says they had a talk, and it was all good. Only in the world of the notorious, right? Anyway, it's just another day in the life of Conor McGregor, the UFC champ turned headline-making sensation. So just stay tuned as we'll bring more details on this in our next video.